make sure I'm good. There, yep. Sounding great. Wonderful. Fantastic time. Good evening indeed. Welcome to Blaine's Escape Corner, our little corner of the internet where we get together to talk about escapism, primarily in anime. However, we are open, of course, to talk about anything you enjoy that helps you relax and just unwind and have a good time. So don't be scared to bring up whatever you want in the comments, but do be prepared for an honest take on whatever you say. All right, get that lined up. What a weekend! What do we call this? Anna Monday? Is that stupid enough to get to start being catchy? We can work with that as our that'll be our working title for today. Shikimori spoilers, beware. Did you watch the first episode? Because if you did, then you probably already know what's coming. You know, it's a thing. It's Shikimori, classic, great anime, great show, wonderful show for the ages, show that will tell people the wondrous nature of shows. Truly a great show. Don't worry, I have gotten some different samplings, but today's sake is going to be an Agretzko labeled sake. I figured double the articles, double the rage. I should get a raging sake, just like my raging hate boner for Shikimori. This is literally called Agretzko Junmai sake. So whoever is running this as like a running Konichi Brewery in Hyogo. I actually don't know this brewery. However, Hyogo is a very, very fun little area in Japan. Can you do the ats on phone? Because if so, I need to learn how. You can. It just doesn't prompt you to autofill. So if you're on a computer, you hit at and you start typing, it'll auto select things. But on a phone, you can at somebody. You just have to have the capitalization and spacing exact for them to get tagged in it, I think. But I believe if you actually just type it out in the mobile chat, it'll still tag the person when you do that. Shikimori, spoilers got you quaking in your boots. That is true. Chainsaw Maid greater than Chainsaw Man. I don't know that I want to bring it up this early in the stream just to I don't know how the algorithm works. The algorithm is weird. I get a copyright strike, and for the next week I have 0 subscribers increasing or decreasing. And then all of a sudden after that first week, the strike is still there waiting, but now I'm seeing subs again. So it's a goofy one, but I'm not gonna bring up the figure that I found from Chainsaw Man that someone was like, this is what's wrong with anime and figure makers. It's like, where have you been? I have seen a lot worse in my time, but that I guess isn't really saying much. I've been on the internet for almost as long as the internet's been popular. Get this Agretzko in my cup. Fill my up. Get it inside. We'll do a half cup just in case this ends up being awful and I end up needing to heat it up or chill it or whatever. I always start with room temperature with my sake. I find it the best way to figure out kind of what the nature is of a sake if you start room temperature, and from there you can kind of tell if you want to be hotter or if you want it to be colder to try to open it up as far as the heat goes, or sort of chill it and bring out some of those crisper notes if you want. It's very it's nice because it's not very astringent. It's very white winey, which I guess if you're marketing something as a Gretzko, you're trying to get that alt white girl interested in your sake. So probably works. Probably works for that. Little too sweet on the finish. But overall pretty good. Overall pretty good. All right, let's see where are we at here before I get too far in. That one was pretty bad. It was pretty bad, to be fair. That was a typically you get an interesting posing figure that you can just take the clothes off. That one was was a reminded me of a Flash cartoon I watched a very long time ago involving dog food. And it made me laugh, I think mostly because of it sending me back to middle school, more so than it being a funny or interesting figure, I will say. Serranos nailed the bet. So watch Attack on Titan ReZero. Here's what's wrong with anime. You know what? You say that, and then we follow up with a bad take generator. However, I would say that they do sort of. Am I in focus? Oh, here I am. Okay, I'll be back here. They do point out one gaping flaw, and I mean just absolutely goatsy gaping flaw in anime, and that is new anime fans. And this isn't to say that we shouldn't have more people getting involved in something, or, you know, it's a bad thing that there are extra people who are getting excited by a thing. But there's a tendency for people who just discovered something to suddenly think that the part that they discovered you've never heard or seen of, and that it's the most amazing thing ever. We used to joke about this with like a new Christian is gonna find like that one verse that converted them and be like, this is the one verse, and you're like, there's a whole Bible. Who are you? What are you talking about? And people do this all the time. They get into a comic book and they're like, this, a lot of Marvel stuff, not my favorite, but Daredevil, and just whatever they got into really really is kind of what they glom onto. And when Attack on Titan came out, I had so many people that were like, you've got to see Attack on Titan. It's the Game of Thrones of anime. I was like, what? What do you mean? They're like, anyone could die at any time. And I was like, I've seen anime where the main character gets killed and swapped out for somebody else partway through the season. Like that's not a new thing. I've seen shows where everybody dies at the end. I've seen shows where death is just a constant for characters. You never know if someone's gonna live or die. This isn't a new thing to anime, and it's definitely not the inspiration of George R. Martin, who is giving this new idea to people. It's just insane. And yes, I'm allowed to have this opinion because I've had this opinion for a long time. This is people, and again, it's just it's a weird human thing where you get really excited about something and you think that whatever you got into it at is like the best, and everybody needs to see it, and they need to see it now, and it also reminds you of this other thing that you think is great. And like that specific line, if people can just cut that out, that'll make me happy. Saying this is a problem sounds like a stretch to me. See, this is what's beautiful about anime, though, is that's the problem. Like think about that, right? In a normal, sane world, in a normal environment, and I use that term loosely, in the environment that my brain makes up, a show like Shikimori just comes out, some people watch it and enjoy it, and then it goes away. They're like, yeah, that was cute, it looked pretty, and then it goes away. But the problem is these people who want to say that it's the best romance of the season and that it's somehow topping Love After World Domination and that it's taking the torch from Dress Up Darling. Like the problem isn't the show, because the show's just the show, because in Japan, anime is coming out and they're just pumping out as much as they can. Hey, can we get the rights to this manga? Can we get it produced? Can we get it done in time? And they're just pumping, and they've got so much. Oh, excuse me, getting so worked up, I'm burping about here. They're just getting so much manga that's coming up, and you've got doujin artists that are getting famous, getting their own manga serialized, and they've got light novels they can reach into. They've got directors that get good enough that they can do their own anime original things, and you've got just so much stuff that is just pumping that they don't really care too much how well something necessarily plays, as long as they can pump it, sell it, and get someone to buy the license for it. And if they've got to package it, so they go up to like a Crunchyroll or someone like that, and they're like, hey, if you want Shikimori, look at all this love it's getting online. People are excited for this one. You're going to also have to buy Kunoichi, and you're also going to have to buy Daemon. And they have this list, so it's like you have to bundle buy all of these together if you want to get it. So they're going to get their money as a studio, and they're just pumping out as much as they can. The problem is how people interpret it and how much people will glom onto something that's just like a mediocre show and think that it's like the best thing ever, without going into like other shows that are interesting and good and cool and they should spend some time getting into, and that's the beauty of something like anime, something that's coming from a completely different culture that we don't really have. Like there are shows that are made for us, really. There are mangaka and there are anime that are being produced for Western audiences, for that international scale. But so many of the shows are just someone who like wants to tell a story, and so it really, I think you get more interesting stories. And the only issue is people that glom onto the crap, and it's like, why are we making this the popular thing? I don't want another season of this. I want another season of Love After World Domination, which we'll get to later on in the series for kind of how things are going. I want another season of Birdie Wing. I want Birdie Wing to be so popular that we have a PGA Tour, we have a Masters, where like a commercial promo where Tiger Woods is going up against Eve in the underground facility. Like that's what I want. I want people to really get excited about the really good shows. And I think that's what what this show is about. I think that's what I try to do here. And hopefully I'm able to just spread my message. Oh man, I feel like I missed a lot there. Got caught up with Laud, and honestly, you give it a 10. You love it so much. Oh, and so do I. Oh, freaking Black Gelato. We talked about this on Friday. I am so stoked for all of this backstory we're getting. I love the fact that there's this weird sense of family that keeps someone at the evil organization. It's very much so the depending on who you are and where you live, like my entire family, like everyone who's like a dad, uncle, grandpa, everyone has worked for Boeing, and everybody hates working for Boeing, but they do it because they got a job and the job provides. And so that was just sort of the mindset. That's how they work. And so it's just so funny to see that same kind of like, well, my family's in this job, they take care of me, I've got friends there, I'm not going to betray, that workplace, even though they're an evil organization. So it's just, I love that entire angle with that show. It's been a blast, that is for sure. And also the characters are definitely too damn charming. Fudo is just the lovable lunk who consistently does the thing that everybody wants, says, I love you for who you are, and we can be better together. Like that, those, oh no, the phone. Shut up, phone. Don't interrupt me right now. That's a truly healthy relationship is when you love someone and you're in love with someone to the point where, everything about them makes you happy. and you're able to work together to improve each other's lives. Like that's what's so great about the specifically the love in Love After World Domination. I'm stoked to see some more between Soda and the Beast Princess. I think that could be really fun if they flesh that out a little bit. But we will see. So you guys are flying tonight. I get the argument. There were new Fire Emblem game catered to the new fans of the previous game. And as time went on, it just got more and more anime-like. Gets annoying at times. That is the problem sometimes. Is your media, your content needs fans. And to get fans and get people excited for it, you need people who are able to have community, have reach, have spread. But like not everybody who goes viral does so that is positive for your overall series. But you're like, yeah, but they did. So now we got to keep pumping out this kind of content because then this will get that person to go viral and more people will buy the game, you know, so on and so forth, self-perpetuating cycle and all that. Why do I think it's new anime watchers that are the ones hyping up Shikimori? Because our favorite friend Louis Kemner, I believe, based on his history from his 4,000 articles he's written in the past 3 years, got into like Pokemon and Dragon Ball back in the day, and then sort of left anime throughout like high school and college, and then has gotten back into anime, and is seeing this as a show that is top notch and great. And the fact that so many people online are like, this is the best couple, you know, the best bisexual couple comments. Tell me that you haven't seen a lot of anime, because there's plenty of anime with passive guys and aggressive females. Like that's a very common thing, because people who write manga and light novels are exactly that. They are from that same cloth. So it's been around forever. So a lot of the people that are saying that Shikimori is such a good couple, they're so romantic, they're so blah blah, you know, whatever they want to say about it, they don't have a deep history of anime, because if they did, they would say, oh, this is just a generic rom-com, and they would have that knowledge. But if they don't have that foundation of all of the other rom-coms, they're not able to say, oh, this show isn't really that great. Glad the child units weren't in 3 houses. Really weird in Fates, because they're new and haven't met all these tropes before. Once they get used to it, exactly. Shikimori's rating has dropped significantly. Again, we will get to that. We will get to Shikimori's ratings. I really, you know, as much crap as we may throw at a place like Anime News Network for all of their news articles being, this show is coming out and we got the dubcast for this show. We got a pretty interesting article from them about with a really fun infographic on all of the ratings. So we'll definitely be getting into that. It's still fun. You guys are getting into the not as good game from whatever those people are. That's how much I care. Hold on. What? Although I will say only Advance Wars 1 and 2 are any good. The rest, Intelligent Systems, that's the company. They abandoned Advance Wars as they made it into the later series, and it just got worse. I liked the kiddie aesthetic. I liked the fun kind of toy look, but they needed to maintain that like classic, just keep throwing units at them until you win. I think most people new to anime are watching the seasonal anime. It could be wrong, but I think most are watching the ones that have finished the season. Interesting. I would well, let me just catch up on this real quick. The worst part of the game, an after story, no place in the main game. Didn't start watching seasonal anime until like 3 years after you started watching anime. Okay. Same with you. This isn't even the first pink-haired girl to be aggressive one in the relationship, or the best pink-haired girl in a relationship. Slept on Marin and Gojo, and this time around they don't want to be missing the fun, so they latched onto Shikimori. Exactly. Seems to me that most people new to anime are watching shonen or isekai. Interesting. They're the hot topic watchers. Potentially. there is a brand of human that you may be discounting in that wants to be a part of the current discussion, that someone introduced them to a show and they started watching that show and they got all excited about it, or they got excited about anime, and then they're like, oh, but as I'm searching for anime and other people to talk to anime about, they're all watching this new show, and they immediately jump into it so they can be talking about the current show, as opposed to watching older classics to get a good grounded foundation, whatever it may be. I think there's a good contingent of people that are they're jumping into the current season so they can be a part of the current zeitgeist. If I want to throw a fancy word around that just means shit people are talking about. Now, it's not the worst thing. You pick the popular show that all your friends are watching, and you keep apprised of that every week. And throughout the rest of the week, you're catching up on Cowboy Bebop, Slayers, Guyver, Gundam, everything else, so that you've got a good foundation. There's a smart way to jump into a series. Told to watch or see being talked about. Exactly. That's why I always recommend something like Bakano to people, because it's short and it's awesome, and people, at least my friends who are already into stuff like Tarantino, just love the whole concept. You've got 1930s mobsters. It's only 13 episodes. It rounds out the story. It starts out very grounded mafia train robbery, and then it gets into some more supernatural elements kind of as the series progresses. So it kind of eases them into that little more Japanese storytelling. And I feel a show like that works really well, especially with a modern audience. I love Cowboy Bebop. However, it has kind of a slow opening for a lot of people that want to get into a show, get running gunning. So something more along the lines of The Great Pretender. Also having something that's on Netflix, makes it a lot easier. So if you're like, oh, watch The Great Pretender, they can watch it. They can watch it in English, and they can be like, well, this is really fun. I like this. This reminds me a lot of really good stuff. Western-oriented anime, exactly. Be a great fit for more skeptical people. And even if it's not specifically Western oriented, but if you would classify the story as like a more universal story, I think that's 100% an easier way to get some. But that's how all gateway shows work. Like you use something that gets somebody interested into it because they already have similar interests. If someone's really into cars, you show them Initial D, and they're like, I freaking love these cars. I love this show. And they just want to kind of continue and move into it. So yeah, I mean that kind of goes without saying. I would assume. Oh my goodness. This might be the longest we've gone before I start talking about shows I've watched this last weekend ever. Nice job, everybody. If your job was to delay. Wish there were more Oni characters. You like Rinka's design, and they could use more like her. Oh, Fire Emblem again. Ooh, I do love Oni characters. I think haven't we had this discussion before? I do. The one thing this Rinka character is missing is the giant bow that a lot of classic Oni designs will incorporate, where they've taken the Shinto rope and broken it so they can get somewhere, and then it's tied as a knot on their hakama pants, and I always love that. Yeah, it wasn't. Let's just say there's a lot of abs on there, so I'm not I'm not questioning why you like her. Oh my goodness. All right, let's get into this. I am caught up on ya boy Kong Ming, and I am loving it. I am absolutely adoring it. I had forgotten how weird Japanese rap is. It is so strange to me that a language that in the what would you say, like professional vocabulary that always ends in some form of desne, deska, masne, maska, mashta. Like that, there's so many little things that make it all end in the same, but they can still find ways to rap and be a little more casual with it. I freaking love it, and I totally forgot about all of that. I have yet to start summertime rendering. So there are 3 shows this season that I'm still on my list that I need to start. Summertime rendering, which every time I see like any kind of hint about that show, I get the vibe that I just need to wait and binge, because it gives me the sensation that I'm gonna get a question every episode, and then that question won't necessarily be answered in the next episode. So for my own sanity, I've got so much else to watch right now that I'm holding off on that one. Executioner in a Way of Life, but that's just because I just got a High Dive, and then I quit heroing. Same reason. I've only really caught up on Ya Boy, and it is 100% great. I know very little about the 3 Kingdoms outside of what I've seen in different anime shows. However, if I knew more, like if you're a huge fan of the Kingdoms and you know Kongming, then trying to guess kind of what the strategy is going to be. Oh, is he going to be this one? Is it going to be that one? Might be kind of a fun, or like, how is he going to incorporate that method? I could see that being a fun game that you play each episode. Greatest Demon Lord, reborn as a typical nobody, continuing to be just some smelly trash. I am loving it. It is a greasy cheeseburger. That is for sure. It is like two big patties on this greasy cheeseburger of a show. Might even be a double, honestly, as far as the patties are concerned. But it is everything that a trash isekai needs to be, and it just continues to be just garbage that you're like, yeah, let's just watch something. Nice decision. Okay, good. I when the trailer came out and I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. And then the more I kind of thought about it, and then it was in like Disney Plus hell for a bit, and I was like, I don't know yet. And then every time I see a tweet about it, it's just like a picture, and then someone being like, this week's show is so amazing, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I'm sure, I'll wait. Cuckoo Talk this week will be good. Cuckoo Talk this week will be good. For sure. Executioner is decent, but the new arc doesn't seem that great. The writing at times is really good, and at times seems lacking. I have the assumption that the Executioner should have been what Ikitosen is going to be, where they have like 3 to 6 episodes that are all full length, or if you do a full 12 or 13, it should have been a 10-minute. Just from the concept, the idea of people come in and then they execute them when they get too powerful. That base idea seems like it would be really good for a gimmick or a gag show, and typically a gag show really quickly will overstay its welcome. So I'm not sure exactly kind of how it continues on, but we will find out. Doesn't even have a bun. It's just pickles, lettuce, cheese, tomato between 2 patties. Just sweet, juicy patties. And then you got a big old napkin for when you're done. You saw Pickle Rick this week? Like, I don't know if that's a reference to something other than Pickle Rick. Are you catching up on Rick and Morty? Or did I miss the pickle? Is this a like a Futanari Idols reference? Are you Are are you trying to say gross things in chat? No, no, we cannot stand for that level of degeneracy. Of course we can. Say whatever YouTube will let you say. I don't really care. As long as everybody can type and everybody can say what they want to say. I don't mind. Actual Rick and Morty. Okay. It is pretty. Rick and Morty rant. I honestly don't have too much to say on Rick and Morty other than just copy paste my rant from earlier. It's an interesting adult show with some good comedy. The fan base really oversells it and really tries to get you to watch it and really get you interested in it. And when you finally do, you're like, okay, I guess. I mean, I watched South Park back in the day. I don't know that this is really that much crazier than that. But it is good. Like, I enjoy it. You're not saying weird things right now? All right. Well, if you ever want to talk about the penis puppet theater, you're allowed to, so far as YouTube will allow you, if you feel like it. I'm not gonna force you to have that chat. Rick and Morty equals Steven Universe. In what universe does it equal Steven Universe? The universe where two creative comedians collaborate on making an awesome show, and then on the other side, a bunch of like freaking land whale. Like who? Let's look at Steven Universe writers' room. I'm gonna get real mean here probably. Do 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 do. Rebecca Sugar became Cartoon Network's first female creator. All right, here we go. Steven Universe's creator. Rick and Morty's creators. Which one do we think that I would have a better connection on a comedic level with? And it's not just because I look like the bastard son of Justin Roiland and the guy from Without a Paddle. There's just there's just something that comes from like a couple dudes that just are like going back and forth with each other. You know, if he had his glasses, you'd somewhat look like him. CSI get beheaded in the new Chainsaw Massacre. Where would you place your boy Kong Ming of the shows this season? Oh, as of right now, I'm gonna say that Love After World Domination tops my list, with Spy Cross Family at like a photo finish. Spy Cross Family is awesome and amazing. However, I have too much nostalgia to really follow up, or like to not pick Love After World Domination as my top this season. And then after those two, you're gonna have basically Couple of Cuckoos and your boy Kong Ming and Birdie Wing. all in this sort of three-way fight for what is essentially second place, but technically third if we're giving out medals. I really like all of those shows, and it's going to really depend on kind of how the shows continue and how they end, to see sort of where they end up on my total list. Because I try not to give real scores until like I've seen an entirety of what's been released. But they're all moving up there. Love is War at 3 for you. See, if something happened to me in the middle of the second season and I just stopped watching Love is War. Tomodachi Game tops this season's drop list. Yeah. The only show to go from we're watching it, this could be interesting, to dropping it to, well, I mean, I guess it's like last place of the season. We can finish it. We'll see. And then that that instant or the ending of the second to latest episode really stuck it in that I wonder if this show's not for me. Just put on 40 pounds. If I put on 40 pounds, I'd be 220. Is Royland 220? 6 foot? And then it would be, we could do it. I'll just cosplay as Justin Roiland for the rest of my life and have people shouting, "I'm Pickle Rick! Szechuan sauce!" I mean, like every convention I ever go to. And I'll get like a sweater that says "Not Justin Roiland." There's a guy, he must have been like 4 years ago I saw this guy. He looked just like that redheaded singer who used to be a songwriter and then stepped into the mic. Oh my gosh, what is his name? Oh, I'm in. Hold on, I'm gonna remember this. Way more sad than being Chris Brown was. From the Little Dicky song where he starts changing bodies. Ed Sheeran. And now I'm in Ed Sheeran's body. It's way less cool than being Chris Brown was. But the guy, he looked just like Ed Sheeran. He had just a sweater that just said #not Ed Sheeran. And that was like his whole Instagram persona. That could be me. Spy Cross Family seems like an instant classic. It does. Everybody's in love with it. Manga readers seem to be stoked about it. Dojin readers, I think, maybe more stoked than the manga readers. There are some weekly dojins that have probably more hits and fans than the show is getting. Because it's just like a normal vanilla romance and everybody loves that. But there's quite a bit of that going around. So I can see Spy Cross Family becoming an instant classic. And I hope I annoy somebody with the fact that I pronounce the X. Who is my number one protagonist ever? Ever? You want me to limit that to anime or just like straight up my number one protagonist? Because number one protagonist is probably going to be either Link from A Link to the Past or the Cursed Undead from the first Dark Souls. One of those two would probably be my favorite, like, global protagonist. Yours is Shikimori from Dororo, so I'm going to assume you mean from anime specifically. Sosuke Sagara from Full Metal Panic would be my number one anime protag. raised as a child soldier his entire life. All he is known is the battlefield. He is one of the greatest mercenaries. He takes orders and he completes orders. And then he has to go to a Japanese high school to protect a girl who's got secrets that'll unlock the universe. And that fish out of water is so hilarious to me, as well as the fact that, like, I had that connection of, like, I grew up in one school for years, and then in middle school I switched schools, and you're like, all right, I have all these things that I know and do, but those things and references and everything don't work in communicating with these people because we don't have that connection. So that whole fish out of water thing really connected with me. So I've got that personal connection, as well as it just being my favorite show from the 2000s. Might be one of my top 5 anime of all time. But definitely of the decade of the 2010s or the 2000s is it my one of my favorites. I was thinking TV shows. We can talk Spy Family while we're there. Who knew that the child of a prominent dignitary / politician / whatever government cabinet member they are, that their child could experience feelings of love after being brutally assaulted. Man, if that wasn't ever a trope in media, I wonder what could be. No, I loved this episode. I like the interplay between Anya reading minds and then also interacting with people, and how what she learns connects to how she has to talk to people. And this episode was really good. As far as fleshing her out as a character, giving Lloyd the chance to be, we saw Lloyd be Dream Daddy, where he's like, I get to give my daughter the best experience of her life, with the whole castle episode. And in this one, we get to see that more like, dad, sometimes it's important to be harsh and fair, and kind. Like, all of those need to be in existence at the same time. So that was some fun character development that we got to see there. Picking one is too hard. I cheated and picked 3, technically. But I don't know. We can call it what we want to call it. I think if you can narrow it down, like, pick 3 or 4 protagonists that are all sort of similar, and you'll be like, okay, so I can see, like, if you look at a lot of my favorite protagonists, they're probably going to follow that same fish out of water experience. It's probably why I love isekai, is because I'm attracted to that kind of protagonist that doesn't really know what's going on. And then you can just say, all right, well, of everything I've seen, which show has the greatest fish out of water protagonist? And then you can just narrow it down from there. So some things will be more specific than others. If you're like, what, my favorite protagonist style seems to be big skelly boy that wakes up in another world, you've only got 2 to pick from, and then you can just fight over whether or not you prefer Skelly Boy that runs castle, or Skelly Boy that helps grandma buy groceries. And then it's an easy question at that point. We can narrow that down real simply, just like in this episode of Skeleton Knight in Another World. Fun show continuing to be. We get to see a little more of the extent of his magic. We get an answer to his curse, and also another question to his curse, like why is it coming back? How is it that he actually has a curse when he just made it up? Is this world a dream? Or is he actually somewhere where his life could be in danger? No idea. We'll find out. RPG real estate Fudo-san. RPG Fudo-san would be however you say real estate agent in Japanese. Continues to be cute, continues to be sweet. I remember a couple episodes, my wife was like, you can watch that one without me. I'm not really into it. And then this episode we're watching, and every time Fa does something, she's going, oh, she's getting those little, like, the cute moments with it every time. Definitely, just being a cute, fun episode. Again, more hints to a darker thematic story with the dragon attacks and everything, but we will find out. Oh, here we go. Now we can judge you, E-Class. Guts, Honda Toru, Hachiman, and Okabe are a few of my favorites. All right, so Guts, I hope you all know. I want to make sure I'm getting... okay, yeah, so Honda Toru, or Toru Honda from Fruits Basket. Okay. Okay, Hachiman. Hachiman, like the Buddha? You're talking from Origaru, main protagonist. Hachiman Hikagaya. Hachiman is the divinity of archery and war. Ooh. We're learning, people. Shinto deity Hachiman from the Kamakura period. Japanese religion, or Shinto, Yahata, formerly in Shinto and later commonly known as Hachiman, is the syncretic divinity of archery and war, incorporating elements from both Shinto and Buddhism, as Japanese people ought to do. Shinto religion, he is mortally Emperor Ojin by birth, who reigned in the 3rd to 4th century, and the son of Empress Jingu. Later became deified and identified by legends as Yahata no Kami, meaning Kami of 8 banners, referring to the 8 heavenly banners that signaled the birth of the divine and deified emperor. He is also called Hondawake, whose messenger is the dove, symbolized by both the bow and arrow found in samurai banners associated to him, where he's called Yumiya Hachiman. Since ancient times, he was worshipped by farmers as the god of agriculture and by fishermen who hoped he would fill their nets with many fish. Nice. Different shows. Not far in Berserk, but damn, Guts is a good pick. Okay, not far in Berserk. Are you reading the manga? I hope you are, because I just finished the 17 hours of the Berserk manga parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 by the almighty Lolly, and wow, there is a lot from the animes that has been missed. There is a lot that has been missed. That was a fantastic thing to have in my ear for the as I'm working for the past 17 hours of on time. I am stoked for part 5 when he drops that. But yeah, there is a lot of Berserk that was not present either in the original show, the movies, or the new series. Yeah, the manga was on sale, so you can get it now. Can't read it any other way. Yeah. If you're doing Berserk anime, you need to start with the movies. Yes, that is true. And even they miss stuff from what I have now learned. I'm a bit of a Berserk expert myself at this point. I think I've I've probably spent more time listening to someone talk about the story and then go into detail about it compared to the anime than I spent in any single college course. I've got more credits in Berserk Anthology than I do in Calc 2, Calc 3, whatever I was at. That, and I also didn't go to class half the time. Hachiman Snafu. Okay, let's see. Okay, what else we got? Where'd that list go? And Okabe. Okay. We have a question here. You do seem to like tortured souls who care about their friends. I think. I think you might like Golden Age Guts best. But if I'm taking this list and I'm taking just anime, probably Okabe would be the best in that lineup. That's for sure. A bunch of ReZero characters could be your favorite. You can't have a bunch of ReZero characters. The question was protagonists, so they have to be a protagon in order to be in this discussion. Can't believe the deluxe was on sale. I had a buddy read that. He got it on like a subscription service or something like that, and they sent him a new copy every month or something like that. Oh, Ram is trash. Ram is definitely not the better sister. That's for sure. But trash. I think she's just mean. She's kind of a bully. I don't know if that makes someone trash, but definitely not the nice one. He is great, you know. You know. Bop 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 bop. Heart of Kunoichi Tsubaki. Okay, we got another episode. I feel like this episode was chunks that could have been added to the last episode. Like, we really want her to take her mask off. Okay, take your mask off. I want to be able to take my mask off. Okay, take it off. And then suddenly we get the, tell me about men question. It's like, okay, maybe. But then it immediately gets cut off. Like, I'm sick of the, this show needs to stop it with the, guys are different. They're monstrous. They're different. They should be avoided at all costs. We should tease them or make fun of them because they're weak and you can beat them by kicking them in the crotch. And it needs to just get into like, okay, let's introduce our main character to dudes, or at least the actual concept of men, so that we can see how that progresses. I feel like we're just floating around the circle. Start defending Ram? No way. I won't defend Ram. You're either a masochist or some sort of weird groomer clown. You can only be one of those two things if you like Ram. Oh, I am gonna get beat up later. You like Betelgeuse more. She's worse than every other person in that show. See, I'm not gonna do it. You can't make me do it. I will say she is not worse than every other character. She plays a significant and important role in that show. You can't have an Ao Oni without an Aka Oni, and the tale of the two Oni is as old as Oni's talk is in Japan. You gotta. I know the types that like Ram. Yes, I do. I do happen to know those types. Anyway, I definitely prefer Rem myself. I am a bit more of a blue hair simp, but that's okay from time to time. Ram is a decent character, just not a fan of her. Her role is a Nat 1 in likability. Maybe. Well, okay, so let's think about this. Who's the if Ram is a Nat 1 in likability, then so is Byakko. And people really like Byakko because they're creepy weirdos. However, they still play a role in the show. They still are useful to the story. They still help other characters. move forward. And I think Ram plays that real role of making her foil and her sister look better. And I think that's important. And we just didn't get a lot in that first season to really make Ram important or useful or interesting. But yeah, it's I don't know. For some reason, I can't get that worked up about it. I can't bring myself to care enough. It's a weird one. I don't know. Maybe I'm just having too much fun. Because we got another good episode of Couple of Cuckoos. We got we've introduced Erica to Hiro, and not in the way I expected. And I love that. I was assuming we would get Sachi getting into the house to be like, I need to make sure that my brother comes back to our family and doesn't stick around here. They kind of undercut that, went the other way. I was expecting Hiro to come over for a study session or something so they can learn to be so she can try to be better than him, and we're not getting that. She's getting introduced to the friend group in a totally different way, and I love that. I love that it's different. The dynamics that I've been assuming haven't changed yet, so I'm still 100% on Couple of Cuckoos to show what I think is going to be like the actual final tell, how it's going to work out, what we're going to get as an ending to the series. But just a good episode overall. I also love this idea of, in the modern age, someone who just happens to be popular on Instagram going to your school and having just everyone in school constantly following them is hilarious to me. I did drop it. I dropped it shortly after they went into, if we're talking ReZero, right after they went into the whatever the heck castle thing in the middle of the woods, the ruins. They went in there, and then like I think I made it an episode into that part of the series, and it was just like, okay. I don't know. I just stopped watching it. It's not even like I actively said I'm gonna drop this show. I just wasn't watching it anymore. Kind of like Aharen-san this season, where I just, I'm done. I don't need to keep watching it. I don't know. I fell off the bandwagon. Fell off the bandwagon, didn't pull myself back up, didn't find a reason for it. All right. Let's start with the best and worst of spring 2022 between up until May 13th through 19th. And we're going to start here because this one is technically a shorter. If I pick it back up, I won't be disappointed. Okay. Sounds good. E-Class got all the best hit picks. Wilhelm is fun and more likable than Ram. Okay. I mean, that's kind of what her character is designed to be. So I don't know. It's one of those like hard questions of if you're not supposed to really like a character, or if a character is supposed to be abrasive, is it bad that you don't like the character? Or what, is it a bad thing? But it's like, you're kind of not supposed to really like her. I'll be disappointed if I like Ram. Okay. So ANN has their own ranking system, their own score system. So you can head over to their Your Score to rate episodes you've watched every week. And using that, they have made this monstrosity. I can move this over just a hair. So this confused the hell out of me when I first watched it. I was like, or when I was first reading through it, I was like, what in the world? We've got numbers and it's a graph. And then we have a list over here of everything. No, that's a chart. So each entry here is an episode number. So we have, like, for example, we have episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you're like, all right, well, that's nice. I can tell that, you know, we got 1,000 episodes of One Piece here and 6 episodes of Spy Family. How does that help me? Well, they did the beautiful idea of click it and you can see the tracking week over week. So if I come down to the bottom of the chart, we can see they do first episode and then week over week, which is a little annoying. I will say, whoever's idea it was to have all the first episodes here, stupid. Because you have stuff like One Piece, where it's episode 1,000. That's not first episode. Just put the weeks on there so we can kind of track each episode and the week they're releasing, because stuff like this, where we have 114, 115, 116, where they off these weeks, and then they, like, how do we know they maintained this position? It's not a perfect chart, but it is a hell of a chart. Look at this. Look at all the colors. I can only see like 2/3 of these colors, by the way. So luckily when I click it, they just go all black. Starting off at the bottom, whoever, you know, we've had our disagreements with the people who vote on the anti-trends list up until recently, when they finally got into our heads that Fudo Decimi are the best, and we still gotta get Culverin Bear and Steel Princess up on that list. So we're still rooting for that. But the people that vote on Anime News Network, they know what's up when it comes to this show's not funny and it's not going to be funny. Don't hurt me, my healer. My healer, Mendokusai, they knew what to expect. They're not stupid. However, they are also not big into that isekai genre. Like, they were like, oh, another isekai, make it last. I guess it's a little better than others. Maybe. No, this is garbage. Get out of here, all of you weirdos. Didn't make it through episode 1. I made it through episode 1 because if I start an episode, I will typically finish it. There are very few anime that I have stopped partway through an episode in order to get away. But this one, I can definitely understand someone who doesn't watch an episode. They're not stupid. Their taste isn't awful, we will say. I disagree here. However, I can see someone being a bit of a, well, I prefer anime that isn't trash isekai. We'll put trash into the trash can, you know, or whatever. Same thing here with Dawn of the Witch. Like, it's, what in the world is this? What? How was episode 5 this, like, whoa, it's gonna get really good? No, I'm just kidding. This stuff is so funny to me. RPG real estate, I can see it be here. Moe Blob is definitely, like, not everybody's cup of tea. I am surprised to see a drop from 4 to 5. I would have expected it to hold at that point as opposed to coming up at 6, 7. But you know, maybe drop at 7 instead, just because 4, 5, 6 had a little more of that, is there a darker message undertone coming? And we never really got into that. Love Live, where them Love Live stands at, they were hitting it hard, and then they just forgot that voting existed, maybe. Because this is unusual for those, for sure. You've dropped multiple shows in episode 1. One of the last one was Pre-Kun. Dude tried to eat a coin. I was done. Nope. Otome games. How? Come on. People were like, no way. Another trash. Wait a minute. He hates this game. Oh, he's playing against the rules. Wait a minute. This is like a normal, like the what? They just forget that it exists. This game should still be, or this show should still be way up here higher. Like maybe 16, based on how this list is looking. This list also got me thinking maybe Executioner in Her Way of Life. Who was that earlier? Was that Serranos or E-Class that was saying Executioner in Her Way of Life looks like it's getting kind of boring. Depends on the trash isekai. I can get behind one if its own magic system and a unique world. I guess that disqualifies it from being a trash isekai then. Maybe. I think you could still be trash isekai even if you have your own magic system in a unique world. I just think that that doesn't preclude the story from being good. Plenty of movies take place in New York, LA, or other real cities in the world. And just because multiple places take place in that setting, or multiple shows take place in that setting, doesn't make them necessarily bad. That was you, E-Class. Yeah. So apparently ANN agrees with you. So the voters of ANN are also feeling what you're feeling. Like how did they are they all listening to me? Is that do I have a secret contingent of ANN followers who also vote on ANN stuff, who are like, yeah, this show is stupid, we should drop it? Oh wait, maybe it is pretty good. Maybe we give it something. Maybe we give it something. And then same thing here, Kunoichi, like, not a bad idea. No, they're not pulling it off. We're getting some interest about the guys. No. Maybe. It's just oh my goodness. Those are the series you plan on catching up with this season. Well, we'll see. We haven't found Bookworm yet, so I'm sure we'll catch up to it. Science Fell in Love has been all over like the other charts and the Reddit charts, and it's like, I don't get it. I'm with these people. 22, sure, throw it there, whatever. You might like it more this season than the first two, and those are solid. Gotcha. Aharen-san. Oh, is this all the show's about? Poof. Oh, maybe they're okay. Skeleton Knight. See, slowly climbing because it's not just another OP skeleton man, but he's kind of OP skeleton man. So we'll see. We'll follow it. Shachiku. This is exactly what I would expect. A series where you're like, oh, it's just another cutesy show where it'll make people who have real jobs feel good. And then Spike. Ascendance, more like the descendants of a bookworm, am I right? Well, give me that one. Gotta give me that one. Down into 17th place from 6th. Maybe they'll pull it back around later. Healer Girl, big spike on episode 3, and then a drop. I get not liking episode 6, but then having episode 7, bring it back up. Interesting to me. Notice what's not in the top 10. These people have seen some shows. Reborn was the manga about the baby assassin, right? It was good as a manga. I don't know about the show. Favorite new shows for you are Spy X Family, Summertime Rendering, Love After World Domination, Ya Boy Kong Ming, and Birdie Wing. Oh yeah. And we haven't seen any of those yet, and we're only at 14th. Reborn. You talking Greatest Demon Lord Reborn? Because that's not the baby assassin. Give me full title on that one. I'm not remembering what you're talking about there. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Sure. I will I will go with it. Daemon, holding steady at that 12th place. You know, people, they either like learning about candy or they don't. I 100% agree with this one being just sitting here. A couple of Kakus, you know, kind of holding where they are. Last episode had a bit of a tank, but I agree. I think having fewer episodes, you can't really put this one into a top 10 yet. So it's okay. Even though I think I just did that. I think I just put Kakus in a top 10, didn't I? The title is Reborn, and you ended a while ago. Okay. Karakyo Hitman Reborn. Look at what's above Kakus and Shikimori, because they were like, oh, golf show. Underground golf gambling, the anime, and it's really underground, and we've got oh wait, no, it's not that great. Wait, we're introduced to the old trainer. Put it back up. Put it up. I love these people. I've never met them, but I feel like we could get along. Your least favorite is Couple of Kakus? I'll be interested to see how that shakes down once we get more episodes. I'm quitting heroing. Again, I've got that on my list to catch up on. I'm guessing that's not Red Skeleton, but you're actually talking about Skeleton, which also makes me a little sad. I could see it not being great, but I don't know. I don't know if it's that bad. Shikimori, of course, I've said much. Your boy holding strong. You know, it's probably suffering from being in high dive hell, where it just doesn't have enough people to push it up any higher. Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Season 3. So coming in at episode 25. So you have 24 previous episodes given it this position, and then something happens, and then it comes right back. There is a contingency of people that love these shows. You only saw the first episode of Skeleton Knight? Interesting. I enjoyed the first episode. I think the second episode really does more to introduce you to why this is different than a lot of the other isekai people, where this one really just doesn't want to be involved with anything, so they're trying to really keep themselves underground. Which of course we see how that'll work out. Boop, 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 boop. Love After World Domination, starting okay and then flying up. Here we go. It is leagues above Shikimori, leagues above I'm Quitting Heroing, leagues above even Data Live. Boom, number 4. Kaguya-sama, Love is War, coming in from 2nd place, holding on 3rd place. We'll see. I mean, technically 4th place if we're to understand Demon Girl Next Door, but we'll find out on that one. Spy Family. I'm surprised they went from 1 down. And the only thing that makes sense is the fact that above that we have Demon Girl Next Door and One Piece. Of course, One Piece is going to have more people that are interested in One Piece. Because anybody who does put 1,000 episodes worth of time into something must like it. They must think it's amazing in order to put it up there. So to try to put something that only has 6 episodes on top of this world-building masterpiece that they've been watching would be sacrilege. So I can understand someone putting this one up here on top of Spy Family. However, I think it's a bit like this needs to be, you know, like when they do the little like jiggly line in like a graph to like say that like there's a big gap here between this and this. ANN is run by One Piece fans. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? ANN, are you okay? Demon Girl Next Door surprises me. Like, what happened here in the 6th episode that popped it up so high? No idea. But this is a fun graph. I liked reading this. Even though it's only going to episode 7 on a lot of these. Cumulative ranking as well. Each week's ranking takes into account the scores given to previous week's episode. Oh, interesting. Why would you do a cumulative ranking ever? Like, you're just adding up all of the previous rankings. Like, obviously, here we go. Spy Family. How much will it change? Much is the question. So far, not a ton. Demon Girl, Love After World Domination, your boy Daemon. Daemon being up in the top 10 is weird. They had to do some serious statistical tweakery to make that happen. Birdie Wing, woo, top 12. I get you. Wow. When you add up all the subsequent scores, Shikimori's only at a 19. That's sorrowful. Down at the bottom, we're gonna have Don't Hurt Me, of course. Tomodachi Game, Where They Belong. RPG Real Estate and Shachiku. I'm sorry, I like watching them, but I get it. They're not fantastic. You just started Demon Girl Next Door? Oh, good. With your daughter? That'll be fun. You forgot that you never watched the first season of Demon Girl Next Door? It is such a fun little series. It is well, it's exactly that. Like, it would be the one you watch with your daughter. Like, it's so well defined as like a there's the bad person, but they're good because they're like in the story, but they're working hard. Like, it's a fun one. Find it to be really chaotic in a good setting. Its atmosphere can be really heartfelt. Don't be too heartfelt though. Heartfelt. And you love those moments. Can't believe you could write the word heartfelt and not. Fuck you, heartfelt. The internet's a weird place with weird people. She loves these kind of shows. Good. Depending on her age and ability to cope with death, maybe show her some Madoka Magica. Can't see heartfelt, not think about that. Heartfelt. I should get. Oh wait, I think I have a PNG. Hold on. I'm pretty sure I made a PNG of this. Where's my memes folder? Memes. Oh, hold on. She is 6. Okay. I don't want to tell you how to raise your daughter. But I know I could have handled it. Ask me when I first saw Ninja Scroll, and then my dad turned it off after 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. What? Oh, I hope this doesn't tank the stream, but hold on, I gotta. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Hopefully. Okay. I don't see any drop frames. We should be good. Okay, and now I can do this. Now I can do add image. You started Madoka Magica with her and realized you should wait a few years. Oh, okay. I'm gonna check my memes folder and see how big it is now. 10 to 12. Interesting. I would say that makes sense, especially if you need to get the base of the current magical girl stuff that it's going to be sort of taking from. Here we go. Heartfelt, Serranos. Heartfelt. Oh. Evangelion is 8 years old, Michael, for your first watching. I'll have you know. 8 to 10. That way you can connect with the younger characters. You can kind of look up and see that the people that are 14, that are a little bit older than you. Your memes is sitting at 77 gig right now. There are actually memes in there, you swear. Jeez. A lot of GIFs, hopefully. No, you gotta watch Evangelion for the first time before you're 14, so that you can say, oh, they're older than me, they should be handling this stuff better, and realizing the people older than you don't. And then you watch it again when you're hitting 16 and 18 and 22, kind of each stage that you sort of progress to that next level of character that you can connect with. She watched School Live and told me she wishes she had such a great imagination as Yuki. That is adorable and also kind of terrifying. I wish I could hypnotize myself into believing that things that were real were... Hold on. I wish I could hypnotize myself into thinking things that are real aren't real, or really are not really there. You know, it'd be nice if I could just pretend that life isn't what it really is, but is what I think it is. I love that I have that now. It's gonna make me happy. I feel like you need to watch Evangelion again. It's been 3 years. It's time. You just can't bring yourself to throw yourself back into it. Kinda depressing. So let's see, 3 years. I think we talked. You're like 1920, something like that. So you watched it last time. You were still in high school. You were still dealing with a lot of like interpersonal crap that comes with the high school setting. Now is a great time to watch it again. Either now or wait until you're 21 or so. But in this like era where you're now, I don't know if you're going to college or what you're doing there, but you've left that sort of high school bubble. And I don't care how big or small your high school was. High school is a bubble. The tutorial ends there for most people. So you need to watch it again, because now you can watch it and you can connect on a different level with Kaji, with Misato, with Ritsuko, with these people that are at that more adult level, where they are handling their situation much more proactively, but they still have to deal with the fact that they aren't in control at the end of the day. Like, as much as Ritsuko wants to be, she cannot control and be with the man she wants to be with. As much as Misato wants to pretend like she's on her own and independent, she still suffers from needing other people. Kaji really is the only one that we don't learn enough about to really see too many of his character specific or like psychological flaws, but he still has those character specific flaws of like a lot of his renown comes from who he's associating with and not necessarily himself as a person. So you're in a good stage. You've probably got 2 or 3 years to watch it for it to still mean something in that vein. You laughed so hard when she said that. Yeah, no, that would be pretty hilarious. High school is like bubble. It sucks. It's really pretty, but really boring when you actually watch it. That's great. That is great. Alrighty, article time. Let's see if we can get through both of these. Our friend Louis Kemner. So, little backstory here. How good is Evangelion? Is that the show? I heard they did a sideshow ending. I can talk about the ending, but I will do so vaguely. In order to avoid things that I would actually consider a spoiler. You like the old man general type guy? Like, I think you take all of his lines from the show and put it into their show and it would still fit. It was my favorite the first time. Is in a movie form on Netflix. Okay. It's also not on Netflix, so you can watch it in the non-Netflix version. You just have to either pay hundreds of dollars for an old set of DVDs, or slideshow. My bad. Okay, let's clarify. Because it's not a slideshow. It's very specifically not. The old man Fuyutsuki, the old man general, is the person that I have fallen more in love with the more older I get as I watch the show, because being that guy that can support your friend and make sure that they are reaching their goals is really satisfying. And you, as a kid, you're like, why is he helping? He knows all of this. Why is he doing this? And then as you get older, you're like, I get it, because it feels good to make somebody else's dreams come true. So definitely, I'm feeling Fuyutsuki more and more as I age. Evangelion, I've got a rant on the channel about how good it is at every stage of life. As general, how good is Evangelion? It is fantastic. It is beautiful. It is Gainax at some of their best. And it is Anno, the director, at his worst, which, similar to a band that does a lot of drugs and makes music that's really good and then stops doing drugs and the music isn't as good. Anno makes really good stuff when he's depressed and not so good stuff when he's got a happy, successful life. So it's a lightning in a bottle that we will not get until we get the next auteur creator who is able to do well with the show. Anno did really well with Gunbuster, so they let him helm his own show. And until we see that kind of thing again, it's going to be a long time till we get a true Evangelion successor. It is a show on the surface. It's spoiler hell. Okay, yeah, it is probably spoiler hell. So I'll do a non-spoiler rant here. On its surface, it is a mecha show in the 90s about robots. But it is, in actuality, a show about people and their connections to each other, and how they either improve or ruin those in the pursuit of their goal. And it's designed well enough in the beginning that you can get hyped about the Monster of the Week battles and show that's going on, that you can miss a lot of the actual show. So watching it twice or 3 times is recommended, because as it moves forward, you start to learn more and more about the actual motivations of the characters, what they're doing, what they want to do, and how they want to do it, that lead you deeper and deeper into thinking about that's what this person's motivation is. I've felt like that sometimes. What are my motivations for what I'm doing right now? And are they equally detestable? Are they good? Are they, how do I compare to the people on screen and how they want to do what they're doing? So it's very good at getting deep into that. However, it's not navel-gazy, because navel-gazy is where you just say, oh, woe is me, what'll be what, but you still have this really interesting show. And then the ending, because you called out the ending of the TV series ran into a few things. One of the episodes mirrored the sarin gas attacks on the Tokyo subway by that cult. So they had to scrap it. They had to change it. So they took an entire episode and had to scrap it and change it. And what that does is artists exist on the hot crazy matrix. Every single one is at least a 4 crazy. Exactly. And we're talking auteurs, so they're on a whole nother spectrum, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so they partway through the series, because they're putting out the series as Anno is coming up with the next episode every week. He's got this idea of what he wants it to be, but he's really putting out hard concepts every single week, and they're animating it, they're voicing it, and then they're putting it out. So it's a real strict week over week thing that they're doing. And then you have to scrap an entire episode and do something else. So they're doing that, and they're more and more. Anno is getting deeper and deeper into the depression, because he's really just sort of venting how he feels through these characters. But he does so in such a good way. He does so while maintaining the actual combat, the robots, the scenarios, everything is still really interesting and intriguing while you see someone getting darker and darker and darker in their own life. And so that caused him to put out the content slower and slower, and they kept running into deadline after deadline. And so a lot of people will blame the ending on budget cuts, which, you know, the budget issue would be there because you're delaying things, but it's not they didn't have enough money. Gainax was one of the biggest studios at the time. They gave Anno as much money as he needed to make this happen. But when you run up against time barriers like he was, the money isn't there that you need to keep everybody running overtime. And so in the end, rather than actually fleshing out the actual in-world explanation of what's happening, they do an extremely deep and interesting psychological deep dive for 2 episodes. And part of that are some scenes that are being crafted as they talk through it. So you see different levels of animation throughout the episode. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it slideshow? Is it lazy? Kind of up to you. I really like the idea because when you get deep into your psyche, like close your eyes and think of an apple. And some people will picture an apple, like an actual perfect, here's an apple. Some people will picture just an outline of an apple. Some people will not be able to picture an apple and just picture kind of a fuzzy red thing. So when we get into that kind of deep psychological thing, you can use the different animation styles and techniques in order to show that off better. However, not everybody thought it was interesting and cool. I loved it for years. I thought that the ending episodes were so trippy and cool. I rewatched them, like just the ending episodes. I rewatched them when I was a kid because it was interesting. We had rented the DVD, so we had it, and I could rewatch it. But then what happened is Anno said, all right, it was a success. I've got money. Let's do a couple things. So they release a movie, Death and Rebirth, which is essentially a retelling of the entire series, just kind of a recap episode, but in a full-length movie format. And then they release End of Evangelion, which is interpreted 1,000 ways, because any show that's got this much hype and this much behind it is going to be interpreted 1,000 ways. For me, End of Evangelion is the physical world that is occurring during the last 2 episodes. So episodes 26 and 27 are happening just as they happen. However, End of Evangelion shows you what is happening in the rest of the world when episodes 26 and 27 are happening. Some people like it, some people don't. Then you stop. There is no more Eva after that. The rest of anything that someone says is Eva doesn't exist, with the exception of the Shinji Rising project. The manga spinoff is fun and awesome and isn't canonical, so it's okay. So you can enjoy that, but don't watch the rest of it. The rebuilds are awful. No one should watch them ever again. All right. Speaking of recap episodes, Shikimori drops a recap, and Louis Kemner writes 2 articles, back-to-back articles, on Shikimori's summer fireworks become the best family tradition for Izumi. Now we're giving them family traditions. You should watch Eva 3.0 because Happy Show? I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of that. Interesting. Izumi Yu's parents used to watch the fireworks in a secluded spot. Now in Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie, episode 6. Spoiler alert! It's the same as all the other episodes. It's his and Shikimori's turn. As Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie continues, Izumi Yu and his seemingly perfect girlfriend Shikimori, only seemingly though, continue to enjoy the summer vacation while it lasts. The couple recently went for a dip at the local river, and now episode 6 sees them visit the local summer festival for some fun before watching the fireworks display that evening. But Izumi and Shikimori aren't the first ones to think of that. As revealed in episode 6, Izumi's parents used to watch used to enjoy watching the summer fireworks as well. In fact, they know a secret, secluded spot where they can watch the fireworks in solitude and pass that location on to their son just in time for the festival. Naturally, he also shares his newfound family secret with Shikimori. Oh, I'm guessing Michael meant episode 3 of Eva. Episode 3 is pretty good. It's a fun one. You get sort of like that new family, and Pen and all that other stuff is always a blast. Episode 6 finds Izumi's parents helping him get ready for the festival, but they have more on their mind. Never saw a sequel or pretend it doesn't exist show. Should probably watch it. Is it still free on Amazon? Probably. I don't know. They have all kinds of garbage on Amazon for free. They have more in their mind than their son's inconvenient, clumsy streak. Inconvenient is right. Plot needing it not to be inconvenient for this episode. They know that watching fireworks can be romantic, and indeed, many developing anime couples grow much closer, or not during doing so. Usually at summer festivals like these. The stage is all set for, like, has everybody else watched that, where it gets too quiet and he can't hear, or she can't hear, or no, he can't hear when she says I love you? That's like the classic, like, firework exploded in my ear right when I was trying to hear you. Can't hear you none. Speak louder. There's fireworks. Stupid, quiet anime characters. The stage is all set for Izumi and Shikimori to grow even closer as a model couple, so his parents lend him their experience in this department. Izumi makes it his mission to bring Shikimori to the same spot his parents used to enjoy and have some alone time with her as the fireworks go off. Bow chicka bow wow. Despite some minor mishaps, they make it there just in time. Minor mishaps that really weren't his fault this time. It's crazy. And as hoped, get to have another bonding moment. Having reached the special area, Izumi and Shikimori make small confessions to one another to deal with their respective insecurities, which helps keep the relationship balanced, because that's all a balanced relationship needs. Shikimori admits to thinking she was overdressed for the occasion, while Izumi admits he lacked the courage to do something like this last year. Yes, the great insecurity of I wore too many clothings. I am overdressed for this. While Izumi admits he lacked the courage to do something like this last year, Mr. and Mrs. Izumi are proven right in this scene. Private fireworks viewing spots are magical for couples. The fireworks viewing scene is, for the most part, typical anime rom-com fare, with many anime like Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie having the obligatory summer festival episode. That said, Izumi and Shikimori's scene together is more symbolic than obligatory. After all, this secluded spot is a family secret, and Mr. and Mrs. Izumi wouldn't share it too willingly with others, except their children, their little offspring, or child, I should say. Weren't his fault, but come on, they were still just as random as usual. Yeah, but it didn't happen to him. Like, there's something weird. Like, we were just talking earlier about how a good trash isekai has, like, a good, interesting magic system. The bad luck system in Shikimori doesn't have any consistency. It doesn't do the same thing every time. It doesn't do a different thing every time. It doesn't, like, it's very weird how it's just very inconsistent with the luck overall. Festival episode wasn't the season finale. Makes it the most unique slice of life anime of all time. They hurt each other when the fireworks went off. It was beautiful. This small but meaningful gesture shows that Mr. and Mrs. Izumi view Shikimori as family. A daughter-in-law waiting to happen. Izumi and Shikimori may be only 16 or so. Japan. But their relationship is a strong one, and clearly Izumi's parents expect them to go the distance. So they share a special little family secret with her, and it pays off exactly as intended. Shikimori gets more than a deluxe view of the fireworks. There's also a wordless, "You're part of the family," from her boyfriend's parents, and that means more to her than any festival game prize. Perhaps future episodes will have Mr. and Mrs. Izumi making another gesture like this to further reaffirm that Shikimori is already one of them. Yes. Sorry, I'm allergic to that garbage take. Yes, the in order to make the main couple look like a main couple, we're going to take another pair that is already a couple. A questionable couple, I will admit, if you're visually looking at them, but we don't want to judge too much on the visuality of people here. So we're not going to, but they will say that they're a couple. So having a couple reaffirm that they're a couple is going to make it a little more realistic that they actually are indeed a couple. So we'll be okay. But before this article released, before the article of like that one didn't say anything. That didn't give me anything. This is a good episode and I like it. Like that would have been a equivalent article that we could have gotten. So we got a real blah. We're like, I think that may be, you know, I know we've already talked about what Louis Kemner's next arc is. Next arc may be Say Nothing arc, where he puts out articles about Shikimori that don't say anything because he gets clicks from me. And that's just kind of where he goes to. With the girl named speedrunning romance anime, like that one show with the girl named after the ring, but thrice as fast. Molasses Speed Tomes ×3 is still slow as hell. Because before this, Louis Kemner was still solidly in the other characters are great arc. Shikimori's characters are at their best when they compete. Here's why. Shikimori's not just a cuties. Main lead Izumi and Shikimori are a relationship goes, but they only feel truly alive when conquering the competition. Again, spoilers for episode 6 in case you missed them last time. Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie is a charming rom-com series making its debut in the spring 2022 season. In most regards, this is a conventional romantic comedy featuring... What is comedic about this show? Ha ha! He hurt his ankle and almost drowned, and his girlfriend had to save him because she's good. Ha ha! What is this? Kemner's my favorite character in Shikimori. Oh my gosh, if we can get him into one of the books as like a cameo, that would be amazing. Similar to series such as Horimiya or Aharensan is indecipherable, but Shikimori has found some ways to set itself apart. You notice we don't have Dress Up Darling in this comparison list anymore. The 5 main characters in Shikimori love to compete, and this competitive spirit usually brings out the best in them. Even when they lose in some ways, competition is how the cast all speak to one another. I made that one sentence. And it can also highlight their strengths and flaws and desires all at once. The same is true in episode 6, which keeps the spirit of competition alive. The shaved ice stand man? Yeah, exactly. Because that's what his taste is. Cold water. In Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie's first few episodes, the main quintet used competition as a means of establishing or strengthening friendships, revealing a character's strength. And this is just the storytelling arc. This part of the story was told. This is how you make people interact in a story. A prime example is an early flashback that showed Shikimori and her soon-to-be friend Neko Zaki, who competed fiercely during a PE basketball game to see who's the best player on the court. Amusingly, Shikimori lost and felt bitter about it, only to be cheered up when Neko Zaki offered a hand of friendship as a way of saying, "Good game. Let's do this again sometime." Spank. Because that's how we always said good game in high school. Good game. Despite being a bit of a sore loser, Shikimori accepted graciously, all bitter feelings forgotten. Then Izumi and Shikimori light touch compete to see who is the more romantic one in their relationship, even if they never formally frame this as a competition. Are we talking about when they were on the phone together? I don't remember that being a competition in any way. Time and time again, they trade favors to prove themselves the better lover. When? Such as easily working up the courage to invite Shikimori on an afternoon date. Oh my goodness, I had to work up the courage to ask my already girlfriend to go on a date with me. What? What? She already said yes to hanging out with you all the time. Like, you're weird. Or when she protects him from harm to show who's the strongest. Of course, competition isn't the main reason they do these things, but each time one of them does the other a favor, the recipient is motivated to return that favor in full force. Neither Izumi nor Shikimori wants to feel like they owe the other anything, and that drives their relationship forward. Who will be the nicest boyfriend or girlfriend ever? Should have spelled it with an A. Speaking of shows better than Shikimori, you got a couple volumes of My Dress Up Darling today. Yeah! Like a show, buy a book. That's how we can show a show that we like that show. Episode 6 also alluded to the show's competitive spirit, with Izumi's good friend Inuzuka competing aggressively but politely with Izumi and Shikimori to see who can scoop up the most fish in the summer festival's goldfish scooping game. They usually do plastic balls nowadays. I don't think I've ever seen an actual goldfish in the Scoopy game. But I used to wonder why these things were like so difficult. But like we went to, there's a place in Japan that it's closed now, but it was really cool. It was a Oedo Onsen Monogatari in Odaiba in Tokyo, and Odaiba is sort of like a shopping island. It was originally a man-made island that they created and filled with cannons back when Commodore Perry was coming back, and they were like, we got to defend ourselves, and so they built this giant island. And so you got this big fake island out there, and they've turned it into like, that's where the giant unicorn Gundam is. Not the one that flips people off. That Gundam is in Yokohama. The actual white unicorn Gundam that has like the splitting horn is in Odaiba. A bunch of shopping. Tokyo has they call it the Tokyo Mega Web. It's like a giant car floor where you can actually buy Toyotas. But if you have your license or your international license, you can actually go and you can drive a Toyota around their like racetrack. It's pretty fun, actually. But on this island is this place called Oedo Onsen Monogatari, and it's a ryokan experience without having to go to an onsen or a ryokan. And so you go in, you pay your money, you get a kimono, so you put on your kimono, and then you go through the doors, and you're in a Japanese summer festival. Like, it's all inside, so they've got like the lights, that kind of twilight looking thing. There's artwork up on the ceiling, so that why am I talking this? I should just pull this up. Hold on. Pretty sure you can, even though it's closed, like their lease is up essentially. Yeah, so you can still walk it. Okay, here we go. Why speak only when pictures say more than words? This is Oedo Onsen Monogatari in Odaiba, Japan. Odaiba. So you head on in, and then you come over, and you pay your fee, or you take off your shoes, because you should always take your shoes off. And then you go pay your fee, and then you get to pick. Oh, don't send me into that room yet. You pick a kimono or a yukata and your obi, and then you head into the changing room. There's rules. Everything's in English and Japanese, so everybody can read it. Oh no, I'm in the women's dressing room. Watch out, YouTube. And then you change. Whoops. Oh no. I went upstairs. How do I go back downstairs? How did I get up here? How do I get? Don't look. Don't look yet. Okay. All right. I made it. Okay, so you get changed in here, and so you leave all your clothes, and you put on your yukata, and then you can shower. Why does it fly so far sometimes? Holy crap! I need WASD Google controls. Maybe I should get like Google Earth or something. Don't give the foot fetishes what they want. So you change your baby if you got a baby. But over here at the end, there's like the hair blow drying, all that kind of stuff. Then you step into the main area. And as you step into the main area, you are introduced to Nighttime Japan Festival. It's the Backrooms YouTube keeps recommending. So the first place here is sort of your classic omiyage, or like the box of candies. So these have a bunch of like wagashi and a bunch of like little bags and stuff. Just kind of a funny little shop that you can go to. And then you've got the first games are here. So these are like water balloons that have like rubber bands on them, and then they give you a paper clip. But the paper clip is like has a rope attached to it that's made of toilet paper or something, so that when you try to dip the hook in to like hook one of the bubbles or the balls, the little rope will just break, and then you can't get it out. So the idea is to get it out without that rope breaking. And you can win a mask. You can do all that. The like candy carving game, you can play that here. And then instead of goldfish, they just have a bunch of balls floating on water, and you use like a scoop, and it's the same thing where like the paper that's inside that scoop, just as soon as it gets too wet, stops working. And so you actually use it like normal, and then you use it like once it busts through, you use it at like a weird angle so you can still get the balls in. I thought once it broke, you were done, but the guy was like, and he grabbed it from me and showed me that like you could still get some balls, and I was like, oh, sweet. Also crepes. So you got all this food over here. I love this. I want to bring this idea, this Onsen theme park. I want to bring this to America. So you get ice cream, and then you play like the Ninja Throwing Star game. There's an entire like food cafe. You can sit and eat under the big lantern, beautiful thing. There's a little like fortune teller here. There's a little water feature going through here. There's sushi. There's a freaking arcade with just some classic crane games and like Mario and all that kind of stuff. Did I ever see Mark Robert's video about carnival games? Your dad red pilled you on those as a kid and got me a cool plushie instead of actually trying to win the big prize. Depending on where you go in Japan, the crane games actually work. There are places that turn the strength down on the arms, but there are other places where the actual like game that you're trying to do, like you're not just trying to like pick up a thing in a crane game. You're trying to move like a ping pong ball across the thing. The actual game you're trying to do with this arm is hard enough that they let the arm actually function correctly. And there's a lot of stuff in Japan that you can actually win like that. Brother dragged you to a crepe shop the other day. It was expensive as hell, so you got the cheapest one. Literally just lemon juice and condensed milk. I always get whatever like chocolate and banana. That's always my favorite. Sliced banana, chocolate, whipped cream. This place has like a full cafeteria, so there's more food all around here, and they serve beer and stuff. And then there's like another. This is where we did like the little carving game. So they give you like this piece of candy that has like an etched like shape in it, and you gotta like cut it out. Kind of like the how was that Squid Game basically. And then this is the those little floating balls that you try to get out. So instead of using actual goldfish, you do that. And then a bunch more restaurants. But then the real reason you come here is to come over to the onsen. The onsen section is, of course, where we all want to go because it's the best. So you step in, you take off your yukata till you're naked, and then you walk your naked ass through this door right here. This is where you get the milk if you want to drink the milk afterwards. But you walk yourself through this door, and boom, onsen, hot spring, beautiful. It's not real. It's not a real hot spring, but it's just heated water. So you come over and you wash yourself at one of these little seated areas, get all cleaned up, and then you go into the top one. There's a lower one. There's another one. There's a massage room here, so if you want to pay for a massage, you can do that. There's like rocks and shit all up in here that are made of like soft minerals, so the whole water feels soft. There's jacuzzi bath as we move farther in. These are jacuzzi baths over here. Really hot bath right here. This is a cold plunge. So this one's like ice water. Like it just feels like a lake. And that was one of my favorite things. I was not at this place, but I was at an onsen like this, and I was sitting in the hot spring, and this guy came up to me to like practice his English, and he was like, hello. And I was like, oh, hey, because you don't hear English a lot when you're in Japan. So it's always like a little bit of a shock. He was like, how are you? Where are you from? But all this kind of stuff. And I was talking to him. He's like, oh, you should try Samui. It's like, oh, cold. And he was like, oh, yes. And I was like, oh, okay. And so we went to the cold plunge and just sat in the cold plunge for like an hour. It was hilarious. Probably was only like 5 minutes, but it felt like an hour. And then you go outside and boom, bamboozle. We got outside bath. We got big bath here. We got big bath over here. And you can go enjoy it all. And there's a women's side, which is basically the exact same thing. And the other unique thing they have here is, so if you go down one of the halls from the main area, you get to here. You put on a jacket, and then you can walk across this bridge, and then there's this heated river. So this whole river thing here is warm water, and then there's like rocks on it, so you're like walking, and it's kind of acupuncture-y. And then if you want to have more of an experience, you can go pay for one of these huts for the fish to nibble on your feet, which is really fun. I would recommend getting the fish nibbling. I actually keep the same kind of fish that they use, the doctor fish. They're a fascinating little creature that eats a lot of algae. Really, really silly little guys. But this place is fantastic. I love it. I think it'd be quite simple to bring a concept like this to America. Just expensive. Yeah, any idea is simple. Like, build a fake hot spring that's also a what the heck was I saying? Build a fake hot spring with like hot water, but it's also like a festival. It's a pretty simple idea, but it's like 6 million, 7 million, 10 million, depending on like how big the concept ends up going. You'd be interested to visit an onsen someday? You have to. If you go to Japan, you have to try an onsen. The first time we went to Japan, we put a ryokan up in the mountains on our itinerary, and we went, and it was so fantastic. Not only was it this awesome ryokan where like dinner is like made for us specifically, it also had like like an indoor hot spring and an outdoor hot spring. And at the outdoor hot spring, there's this giant sake container that like you open it up and it spits out like cold sake. So I had cold sake and hot bath in the middle of fall. It was amazing. 5 minutes equals an hour. Rick and Morty, Steven Universe, you dress up darling Shikimori's not just a cutie. I don't know what that sentence means, Mike. You like to go to a place like that. You also like to go to those whole hologram idol concerts. Just try it once. Just go to a maid cafe and pay them for like one of the idol shows. It's way more fun than I think any hologram concert would ever be. $10 million. Yeah, water and all that shit's expensive. Plus, I'm in Washington, so like the Seattle area, you're not getting enough land and warehouse space to do something like this for cheap ever. Probably you could get it for you could do it for $6 million, but it'd be rough to do it for less than that. Might be easier to buy an existing hot spring place and retrofit it potentially, but a lot of those hot spring places, at least in America here, are like the water's warm in the ground. We built a bunch of different cabins. Like it's a very specific, in like very American type of feel to it most of the time. And I think part of the charm of a place like this is that it isn't actually a hot spring, so you can control and you can build you can Disneyland it. You can make it whatever you want, which would be the perk of just doing like a big chunk of land or a big ass warehouse or something like that. The setup cost is pretty big, and the staffing maintenance is a whole other cost. Yeah. Plus, anytime you're dealing with water, there's all kinds of annoying things that goes along with Department of Health and all other crap. So yes, there is a whole litany of crap that comes along with a place like this. Even if someone handed you the keys, there is a lot that goes along with that. But if it's your dream, if it's something you want, you find a way to make it happen. So we shall see. For now, I'm just going to try to do okonomiyaki, which is not commonly found here in America. The hell was I talking about? Man, I went off on a different route there for a minute. Let's finish this up. I'm sure Ricada will be late, so there's no rushing listening to his super chats tonight. Time and time again, they trade flavor. Like we heard that one. Episode 6 also alluded to the competing aggressively but politely to scoop up fish. That's where I was. I was talking about scooping up fish. That's right. It's pretty fun. And I've been to actual summer festivals as well. We were able to time it one year, and they are a blast. They are as fun as and this is what I mean when I say Japan is anime, is going to a summer festival or a shrine festival, even if it's not a summer one specifically, is as fun as anime makes it seem. Again, I go back to the honeymoon where we had no idea what we were running into, and actually going to a shrine festival in the middle of the fall, I had no idea this was happening. And you get okonomiyaki on a stick, you get all these yakitori sticks, there's masks and stuff that you can buy. All of it is as fun as anime makes it look, and that's what I always mean anytime someone says that Japan's not anime. I'm like, it kind of is. It kind of is. Just depends on what anime you're watching, that's for sure. To be fair, that stuff is way more interesting than Shikimori. 100%. 100%. Way more interesting. Not for the first time, Nekozaki comments on Shikimori's competitive spirit, both impressed and slightly concerned by what she sees. But this is just how they read from their friendship. And no feelings are ever hurt. Good sportsmanship, underlying factor. Not only does this lively competitive spirit reveal the strength, flaws, and interests of the 5 main characters, it also, again, this is just the, let me say, random crap about characters and storytelling arc. Shikimori is not just a cutie, he's a feel-good rom-com anime where nothing really bad happens and there is little to no drama among the leads, so the characters need to make up their own stakes in order to give each scene a sense of purpose. So as every story needs conflict in some shape or another, what? Therefore, they generate some conflict, stakes, and excitement every time they get involved in a competition, such as Shikimori's and Nekozaki's basketball game, the goldfish scooping, or merely. So the show's boring and needs competition in order to be interesting. What a boring thing to talk about. No story can be built on every main character always getting what they desire and always getting along, and it's almost as though Shikimori and Izumi have a meta understanding of this rule, almost like there's a storyteller behind the scenes. It's the show that exists arc. Yep, that is the arc we're in. I really was expecting there to be something that would switch it over to the show is great. Anyway, how interesting. Man, I've actually got some stuff for tomorrow already. That'll be fun. We will have fun with that, that's for sure. All right. That is a 2-hour show. Jeez. How much fun did we have today? That is for sure. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for chatting. Thank you for having a blast with us tonight. I hope you learned something. I hope you fed some sort of dream. You learned some sort of desire. You use this show to help you escape and then build up more of a excitement or desire for whenever Japan actually opens up. Chainsaw Maid! Yes, Chainsaw Maid. Chainsaw Maid dreaming, am I right? You'll know what I'm talking about if you ever make it to Japan. Go to Maid Dreaming. It's a blast. It's a blast. It's expensive, but it's a blast. It's a little pricey, but it's okay. It's a good time. So that's the shows we watched this weekend. Bunch of stuff about Shikimori, talking about Japan. Had a wonderful time tonight. You all have a wonderful rest of your evening. I am going to sign off. So, kanpai, everyone.